Apologies for the delay. We seem to have the sound working. So I'd like to welcome you to this final Building Smart session of the day. This is a masterclass on information delivery specification. And our speakers are Frédéric, Head of Define and Link Division at CoBuilder, and Andrea Aiello, OpenBIM standard expert at Akka Software. This is scheduled to last 1 hour and 30 minutes, and with time for questions at the end. We do have an antitrust code of conduct. I'd like to bring to your attention that buildingSMART is committed to ensuring that participation in the development of standards is unrestricted, and the process for their adoption is transparent, and standards that are developed do not favor any particular provider and are open, non-binding, and accessible to all. So now I'll hand straight over.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your attention tonight. I know that's the last one of the day and kind of the last one of the week. Tomorrow is a bit different. And I'm pretty sure you are fed up with a lot of presentations. So here is a PowerPoint. Sorry about that. But we will try to have some kind of live demo. So I hope you bring some popcorn and you will enjoy this part. Today our topic is about information delivery specification. Well, Monday morning we were discussing about Horizon 1, 2, 3, and with the Mentimeter, sometimes we had an answer like buzzword. I think IDS has become a buzzword this week, and I really hope this will enlighten your understanding about IDS and your vision about it. So I will present the first part about IDS, then Andrea will explain you, show you some example and explain you how it works in Akka. So I'm again need to apologize, but I'm a standardization guy, and then I'm always starting with standards. No worries, just one slide. This slide is about something called level of information need, and I just took a really short extract of one definition which says level of information need is description, blah, blah, blah. I let you read. What's important for me is the note. One purpose of defining the level of information need is to prevent delivery of too much information. The idea there is to be able to make specification, but useful specification. Just asking for the bare minimum you need to do something. That's what we are talking about today. So how it works, really simple. To create a requirement specification according to those kind of standards, you need to have a why, the purpose. Why do I need this information that I will require from you? Second thing is, when shall I deliver this information? If it's some handover information, why should I ask for it in design phase? No point. So I have to be very clear about when do I need this information. Something quite important, someone should know he has to provide it. That's about the actor. That's the person in charge of giving me the information I want to receive. And maybe the most important thing is I'm requiring something. The what is, let's say, well, we are in buildingSMART. That's the IFC entity I'm requiring. And then this standard is providing a framework. So again, purpose, milestone, actor, object, why, when, who, what. And then we have something called the how. And we will focus today on what we call the alphanumerical information according to this specification. Let's be clear, we are talking about properties. This is for you, Lars. You like the way I say property. That's about properties. That's about information I want to have. So that's all I want to say about level of information need, because again, here we are at buildingSMART International. So let's speak buildingSMART words. Here we are talking about IDS. IDS is a standard from buildingSMART International to address this level of information need stuff. So thanks to Leon to have worked a bit for me, and that's a schema a lot of you have already seen, I guess. Always the same story, somewhere someone need to define requirements. Those requirements should be connected to what is called here a reference library. In my world, I call it a data dictionary, same idea. Then I will create an IFC file. This IFC file will manage to take care of those requirements. It will be also collected to this source of truth, new word for data dictionary now, still the same idea, and then we will be able to validate this file and to check the BIM model against the requirements we've been working on. And that's what we will talk about today. Then, of course, we will communicate, share the results, and we have all the standards for buildingSMART about BCF, etc. But here we are focusing, and we will stop on this IDS check today. So, long story short, IDS, that's an XML file. You're free to go. More seriously, that's the buildingSMART international standard. A lot of work have been made the last 2 years around it. Many people involved, stakeholders, software vendors, discussing what do you need, how can we address it. And then we ended with not a really simple schema, but quite simple XML schema. With a list of specification on properties, entities, classifications, expected values, rules, etc., etc., etc. I don't want to bother you too much on that. I think that's easier to see, and I think Andrea will show you very precisely what we are talking about. And the goal is to be able to specify this famous alphanumerical information I was talking about, which is human readable for geeks who read currently XML. Well, that's quite easy to understand it, but still, that's just to be nice. I'm saying that's human readable. That's dedicated to machine, of course, and the goal is to be able to provide this common file format that can be used in conjunction with IFC, meaning that IFC plus IDS will provide me the ability to check my BIM model against those requirements. That's the main part of IDS and what we try to address it. So maybe quickly a bit more into detail. How does it work? Well, you have two main parts in an IDS file. The first part is called info. Believe me or not, that's about the information about this file. You will find those famous milestone and purpose. You will find who created it, when, etc., etc. So kind of administrative information, let's say. And then you will have the specification part, which is a list of pairs, applicability. What is this requirement about? So I will require an IFC window, according to that, blah, blah, blah. And then I will have this requirement step where I will have IFCP sets where I want to find this information. I will have the list of properties that I have required for my project, and I will be able to add rules on those properties. I want to have fire rating being class A or class B. And then I can go further with more rules in there. I think you will touch it a bit in your presentation, Andrea. But that's all about IDS. So here my message is IDS. That's quite a simple thing, in fact. Really powerful, but really simple. That's my message in it. Just a quick example on what we will show you today. So these are screenshots from aka IDS editor, coming from an IDS made with CoBuild link that I will show you. And this is corresponding to the info part, title, author email, that's me, purpose, milestone, date, etc., etc. And the example we will follow as specification just on 3 IFC entities, window, railing, and column, if I remember well, yes. And then you can transform it in a readable way. So here are 2 examples, again in aka, and you will see that for a window, we will require that we will, let me see, we have classification Uniclass 2015, and it should be classified with this code, and we have requirements on 1, 2, 3, 6 properties that should be provided in a piece set called CoBuild Learning Requirements. And here, another tool, Blender BIM, showing exactly the same information, again human readable, explaining you what has been provided as an IDS file and what should be checked in my IFC model at the end. Do you want to show your examples now?
Thank you, Frédéric, for your presentation of IDS. Now I will try to present some examples so it can be clear how to use it. Yeah, just a quick presentation. I'm Andrea Aiello from Maca Software. I'm a software developer working from many years now and on software development. And since 2019, I've been member of buildingSMART. And last February, I joined the Italian National Board. I'm focused on electrical sector and about open beam standard like IDS and BSDD, and also new technology applied to the AEC. Now I'll show you a quick video how to create an IDS. We try to make a very easy to use application, but also very efficient. So just go on our platform, ASBIM, and create a new file, a new IDS file. You will get the information that Frédéric talked about before. So just enter the title, all the other information, the email, the version, purpose, copyright, and milestone. After that, we start to create the first specification. We try to make it human readable. So as soon as you write your specification, you get a readable text that human can understand. So let's create a new specification. Also, you need to add some information to this general information. And then you start to add the filter. Which entity you want to filter in your model. And after you ask which requirements they must have. So in this case, we add, for example, this specification. And after we say also, we add requirements. We say that I want that the FC project have this attribute named and with the value. In particular here, we can add a regular expression. So we can say a specific name. Also, we can add regular expression. This is true everywhere. In many parts of IDS, you can use regular expression to say which value must have in your property. So let's do another one. You can say that the model must have, might not have, or must not have some entities with some characteristic or some requirements. So you can just a combo up and then you can say again some requirements, some filters, and then the requirements. Here we ask for materials. We ask that some IFC entity must have some material. Any materials or a specific one. Another example, then we will see more and more. This other example, we are going to ask for a model, specific class, IFC rail, or IFC course, or IFC track, something with this predefined type must have some specific requirements, like in this case, classification. So all the IFC element must be uniclass with this code. So it's very straightforward. You set the filter and you set the requirements, and you get the IDS. Here also there is a document that the BIM manager can use to send to the user, yeah, to understand which are the requirements in a human readable format. But after that, you just open IFC file and use another very useful application, ASBIM IDS Validator. You load the IDS and everything is checked. So the application is going to check all the requirements that we have just written. Everything here you can read the general information about the IDS. And then we have all the specification. As you can see, the red one have some problems. So later we need to check what's going on. And the black one are okay. There are many buttons to try to understand because IDS is not very easy to understand. So we try to make it very easy to understand. So you can click everywhere and you can read the specification. Here is going to change the property directly on ASBIM, validate again, and you see that the problem is gone. So just to show that with the ASBIM, you can change the FC file directly on the web. You don't need to download the change in another place. This is another very nice features. You can color all the specification in different ways, so you can see all the elements belonging to each specification. I'll show you later with our example to the example, many other features, but these are the main one. In this other case, we have some elements without material, the ballast one. The material is missing. Here, you can read some suggestions. Now it's the beamer is not very good, so you can read it very well, but here you can see and read the specific problem, so you can fix it. Like here, I think you missed the uniclass specification. Yeah, it's classified, but you missed the code. Here is another view. You can see all the errors. We have coded the errors. So each error for us is a code from 100 to 500 with different color. So each time we find a problem, we code this problem with a number from 101, 102, and so on. So as you can see all the problem of this type, issue code 302, invalid value. This is another filter that you can use to try to understand the problems with another view, where you can choose some filters. You can download, in this case, we have a missing, an invalid value. You can download all these errors in a BCF format or in Excel or CSV to use in another software or in another application of ASBIM, like ASBIM BSF. Maybe, yeah, that's it. This is an IDS. How you can see, it's in XML. It's not very easy to read. It's easy to read for a machine, but not for a human. So what we have done is try to create a human-readable IDS. So what we have done with our application is just read the XML file and create a human-readable application. These are some examples I want to show you. First one, what we want to say is the model must contain entity which have IFC class, IFC wall, with the following requirements. Have predefined type solid wall. So you will check that all the IFC wall are solid wall. The second here, IFC wall type have the IFC dot type here using pattern, regular expression. Here another example, the model, all the IFC wall must have a specific property in a specific property set. So you can read it by yourself. Down in the second case, you say that you have a property foo in the property set foo bar, and the property must be equal to 5. Otherwise, it's an error. So you can specify a single value. Here, another very important example. In the first part, you say that the FC wall must matching this regular expression for a star, and the value must be X or Y in the property set foo bar. Another example here, you say that this class, all the elements of this class must have an attribute refraction index with value between 0 and 10. This is another specification about the attribute. You say that the FC material must have an attribute called name with some stars before and after. Another example is this one. The classification. You say that the IFC class element must have a classification, a native classification with identification code EC001. Or you can say that all the IFC wall must have a classification code X. You can also specify the material. another example. You can say the FC wall may have any material, so just one material, or you can say that the FC wall must have a specific material, like here. Now, these are more complex IDS that you can download from GitHub. These are very classical example if you've ever seen the GitHub, IDS GitHub. So this is quite famous in the IDS world. So you say the FC member class element must have a relation with the FC element assembly, must belong to a classification, any classification with a code matching this regular expression, with the property, it's Dutch, so that property with that value in this property set, and so and any material. So you can create very complex IDS. So this is not very complex, more complex than the other one. This is for the doors, the same stuff. You can ask for relationship, for property, for materials. This is the example, the classical example for the windows. Again, here there is it's different from the other because you have two conditions in the filter. You say that all the FC class windows with a material matching the regular expression glass must meet these requirements. We have only seen one filter, but you can add more in one filter. This is another example with the panels. Here there are some specific, the property must have value between 0.5 and 2.1. Here, this property must be equal to 30. So, yeah, just some example. Later we will show you a very complex example from Code Builder. So,
thank you, Andrea. So let's go to our example. We will try today to create and check requirements. This is what we will do today. Well, not all what we will do because we don't have enough time, but the idea is to say, let's play a role. I'm a client, an owner, or I'm a contractor, and I need to create specification. That's the goal of my life. I need to create requirements. And for that, I will use two tools. One is called copy the link, and the other one is called define, because in this world, we will create requirements on properties coming from specific data dictionaries and not requirements on properties in an IFC model. So that's important to understand. I will come back to that. We will export those requirements. Believe me or not, this will be in IDS. And we will assume that someone somewhere had imported those requirements, created the corresponding BIM model, and exported it. Then we will go back to our example, and we will see in ACA, IDS validator, and in a dashboard provided by another company called SevUp, how to check a BIM model against those requirements. So that's what we will try to do right now. So pretty close to the popcorn time. Just before, important to understand. What we will do today is creating requirements on a data dictionary, meaning that somewhere, some people have been working on creating objects and properties with information coming from standards, EN, ISO, ASTM, whatever you wish, coming from specific regulation, from specific industry needs, and they have been working at international level, some even upper higher to have a kind of common language around this. The idea is not that anyone creating a data dictionary recreates his own stuff just for him. What is in common should be in common. And in our example today, we will talk about the work that has been done at national level, but by our UK friends. Yeah, UK friends. That's French. When a French guy is trying to say UK, the mic cut. That's life. Whatever. So what we will do is work with a data dictionary made at national level, but using content coming from European and international level. So properties and objects in this data dictionary, some of them will come from higher level data dictionary. So that was just to explain you what we will use today. And now, let me switch to the right one. It should be this one. Yep. And I will sit because I'm lazy. And so this is the UK National Data Dictionary. So this has been created working with British Translation Institute, and this working group has created a set of objects. We call it data template. And for those objects, they have been working on the list of properties they want to have when they describe this kind of object. More than that, so I already know some kind of object we will use. The tricky part is to spell them correctly. Second try, and here we go. So for example, today we will talk about railing, and what those guys in UK have done is saying, well, railing, we know that this should be provided in a BIM model as IFC railing entity, and that also when you use Uniclass product table, I don't remember the name, they should have this code. So already in the data dictionary, you know that if you work with railing, this will be used in IFC as IFC railing, and this should have these classification codes. That's important for the future of our presentation. They have been a bit furthermore, saying that for this kind of objects, they have a set of purposes, national purposes, and national milestones. So for example, if I'm going back to my railing, this object can be used at RIBA stage 4 with this set of properties. So they have been really far in the description by providing all possible milestones, all possible purposes for each kind of object, for each kind of properties of this object. And this is kind of the fuel of what we will do when we will create requirements. So as a client in UK, I will create my requirements for this dictionary on my own project. Then what I will do is connect to this new tool, which is called CoBuildLink. Let me revive it. Here it goes. So here I have a list of projects, and I've been working a bit. So there is one which is called Molio House Rome, which is the one we will use. So first thing, I know that this project is using 6 construction objects, 8 milestones, 7 purposes, 6 actors, and 6 documents. That's not a lot, but that's coming from UK, so we cannot ask too much, I guess. No one from UK in the room? Okay, so I'm loading my project, and in the first page, I can see the list of my construction objects. So yeah, something I forgot to tell is my point here is this is for day-to-day clients. So this is not talking about IFC. This is not talking about IDS. This is talking about objects I want to use and properties of this object I want to use. My clients say don't care about IDS. Not at all. Here we are in buildingSMART, we do. Of course we do. And we need to provide a solution to those guys. But those guys, if they click export to FGR, same as export as IDS. The only thing they want to know is that someone will be able to check it. So that's the reason why you don't see anything about IFC entities, IDS, BCF, that's behind the scene. I shown you the data dictionary. We know that railing is IFC railing. But here, not a word. Well, so I have a set of objects, and for some of those objects, I have some properties. Of course, I can add requirements on other objects coming from this data dictionary. So for example, if I want to use balconies in my project, I will just select it and add it, and this will come back with its definition from the data dictionary. What you will do is Also, for your project, set the list of milestones you have. So in this case, in the UK, that's RIBA stages. So we have all those RIBA stages. Of course, if you need your own milestone, here, you can just create the one you need. Really important, I'm coming from this dictionary side where we say we need to trust the content. At least we need to know where it comes from. So here, this logo is saying that those milestones are coming from the National Data Dictionary. If I add a new one, we will not have this logo. You will know that's homemade stuff. Well, you can use it, but you know that's homemade. No, Radboud, you have to stay. So that was about milestone. Next one is purposes. Same. You have a list of purposes coming from your National Data Dictionary, and you can also create your own purposes. Maybe you have some kind of electrical calculation you want to have requirements on. You can create the purposes electrical calculation. And we can do it immediately. I have some French friends in the room, so you have to be nice. So electrical. Everyone needs to be happy when he leaves the room. That's the thing. So I'm just creating this one, and as you can see, now I have a new purpose, electrical calculation, and here we just don't have the fact that it's coming from the data dictionary. Forgive me, I will not save it. Then you have the list of factors, same people who will have to deliver the information coming from your data dictionary or created for your project. And you can also provide a list of documents you want to ask in your project. So in this case, we have 2D drawings, 3D drawings, we have a BIM model in IFC, it's important, some PDF documents, etc. And this is a kind of my shopping list for my project. So I've just started to say, well, I have a national data dictionary, I'm starting a project. For this project, I will use all those objects coming from the dictionary. Here is the list. I will have a list of faces in my project. Here is the list. I will have a list of purposes. Here is the list. And then I will create my requirements. Here we go. So again, lazy. So some has already been created. And you will see what we've been talking about before, this list of why, when, who, what. That's milestone, purpose, actor, construction object. And for each of those, you have the list of properties that you have required. So for example, here, RIBA stage 2, cost estimation, structural, well, that's not really valid, but here is the list of properties. And of course, for each, you will find the definition coming from the data dictionary. If it managed to load. Nope, yes. So here is the technical definition of abiotic depletion, blah, 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 with the unit and the data types. So you always have the information up to date from your data dictionary on what you are specifying, which is, again, really, really important, in my opinion. So how does it work? Let's do it quickly. I will create a new requirement. Let's say RIBA stage 2. Let's say carbon footprint measurement. Or let's say maybe more life cycle assessment. I know Answeli is somewhere in the room, so I have to be nice. Let's do it on column and railing. And here, what the tool is doing is it is checking in my national data dictionary what are the possible properties for column and railing at RIBA stage 2 and LCA. So that's why I was insisting in the data dictionary part. Most of the work has been done here and will be reused all the time when creating requirements. You do not reinvent the wheel each time you create these kind of things, because to be honest, here we do it fast, but that's a lot of work. But again, our data dictionary kind of save our lives. And just for Answeli, you will create global warming potential. That's not easy with just one finger. Carbon footprint, sorry. Reference service life. And I have some notes. Declared the declare unit volume. Here we go. And I will just click save. And my level of information need is created. And I have a big table, so you have no clue about what I'm talking about. That's not an issue. Here, I will say that, well, I don't care about actors. And the first thing I want to see, the first thing I want to see is a construction object. Here we go. And I'm only interested in REBA stage 2 and in life cycle assessment. And suddenly I will just have 3 lines, which are railing, window, column, with the milestone, the purposes, and for each, the set of properties I have required. So for window, that's positive volume, etc. Still same idea, you can see what I'm talking about, technical definition from the dictionary, unit, data type. Same for, again, for Answeli. Here we have global warming potential and carbon footprint with the technical definition coming from the standard, the unit, and the data type. So let's say I want to address this use case. REBA stage 2, life cycle assessment, 3 objects, 4 properties for each, 6 for the window, and this is the only time you will listen about IDS in this tool. That's when we have finished creating your requirements. You're just saying, well, I would like someone to use those in the OpenBeam world. Please export it as IDS, and here we go. This is what we have. Don't worry about it. The idea is not to go again in this XML file. You already saw many. What I want to show you is what you can do with that. Yes, we are back to it. Well, very quickly, just to show you what we have exported is lifecycle assessment, REBA stage 2, window, and here you have IFC window. I told you the dictionary is key. We have been working only on window, railing, and column. But when I export, I know that I have to export IFC window, IFC railing, IFC column. Again, my user doesn't care about that. Just care about the object he uses every day, but the software they do. So we just export the IDS as IFC window. And we've seen that IFC window, well, that was railing, but same idea, should be classified in uniclass. So we export this. So all those information we have seen are in this IDS file. And what I will show you is something we have done with a company which is called SevUp. And this company, let me go fast, is providing a platform where you can upload an IFC file. This IFC file is analyzed, pushed in a database, and made available for specific queries. And in our case, Link and Define will push the IDS to this platform, and they will upload an IFC file and check the model. So I will show you quickly many windows open. So here it should be this one. Let me go back and show all. Okay. So that's a really simple dashboard. This building is called Molio House. That's courtesy of Molio in Denmark. This can be downloaded freely and used freely, but again, provided by Molio. So that's my BIM model. And really easily importing this IDS file from Link, I know that 84% of the properties I was requesting are provided. I know that some information is missing for 1 column, 38 railing, and 1 window. And quite easily, I will be able to have a look saying, well, show me all the railings that are missing information. According to my IDS, you will have all those railings, and for each, you will see what is missing. If you remember, I was asking for global warming potential, declared unit value, volume, reference service life. All those properties are missing. So quite easily, you just import this IDS with your IFC model, and you have this dashboard automatically thanks to the IDS checker. So that's where it is really powerful. Next thing is, let me open. Yes. Back to Akka. So I will just show you something, and after Andrea will show you the IDS validation in the file. In here, something wrong? Okay. Here I will select a window and just wanted to show you that in this IFC file, so this small your house, here, well, you will have to trust me because that's difficult to read, but it's written IFC classification reference, Windows unit, and the uniclass code. So the IDS checking should be fine. And then something else is, I told you, here in this example, we are not creating requirements on IFC properties. We are creating requirements on properties required by UK, by the government. So those properties are not in IFC, but we are pushing them whatever, and we have a reference to their definition in the data dictionary. So my point is always back to this data dictionary thing. And if I have a look at this window, there is this wonderful URL. And if I copy it and go back to my browser, you will see that this URL will point me to, ta-dam, my UK data dictionary with a list of properties, definitions, reference document information. So you keep track of everything you're doing. National data dictionary, creating requirements on top, creating a BIM model, getting the link to the dictionary in my BIM model, and at the end, checking everything in sbim.browser. That's our example, and you will have the final check in Akka. So
let's do this.
yes.
Okay. First of all, I want to show you how the IDS will look like in ASBIM IDS the editor. It's a free application, so you can use straightforward as soon as you register in ASBIM. Here there are the three specifications and say that all the FC windows must have this type of classification, this property in this property set, and so on. The same for column, they're quite similar, and for railing. So you can read it. After that, you can open the FC file. Okay. Oh. ASBIM IDS is also free for 3 months. So if you start to use it, you are available, you can use it for 3 months. And so please have a try and just send us any feedback because it's just, it's been just released. So I think we need some feedback and to improve it because it's a very new stuff for everyone. So this is the example. We open the ASBIM IDS application here. I have already loaded the IDS before, so it's been already selected. So now the software is checking. As you can see, there are the three specification: windows, railing, a column. If I choose a color for each one, I can see in the model. Yeah, different color for each one. I can select all the single elements belonging to each specification. If I open a single specification, I find all the FC elements selected by this specification, and they are black, but there are some red. This one, I can click here and see that this requirement, this is very bad because we miss a lot of property not found, and so on. I can look just at the errors this way. I can filter only the error elements, and yeah, we miss some properties. The column here as well. If I go here, I see all the errors in this table with the specific code. As I told you before, we have coded all the possible errors in IFC, for IDS. So it's property not found, invalid value, and so on, invalid FC class, classification identify not found, for error 501, and so on. This is very useful because when you can color all the model by using this color, you can here you can add some other columns if you want to see more information. You see all the errors. You can export it in Excel or in BSF. Here there's the other view that we have seen in the video. I can filter, for example, just the errors, or just the warning, or just the error belonging to window or to railing, and so on. Error, and you can see all the one. You can click here and you see the element in error. Again, you can download in all this format. Here, this is the small number you don't see, but it means that we have 119 elements, but only 2 are in errors. So you have all the information about the error and the problems of your documents. But the last thing I want to show you before the question, I forget my glasses at the hotel, so I cannot, but I would like to try to create. What I can do now is I want to select this element, co-builder, okay. I can update directly the FC element, the FC file here in no, we need to create a pset as well. I can add the property set. Co-builder was the name. Co-builder link underscore. Where is the underscore in this French keyboard? Underscore, sorry.
Yeah, I did it.
Okay. No, there is already this property set. Oh, this one. So I can add in the property set. I can add. No, this is a property set. No. I can add the property. Let's try to copy it. Okay. No. No, probably I forget.
I think property type.
Yeah, the property type was real, I remember, no? Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try. Okay. So if I'm back here, I try to validate again and the magic. Let's try. If we have done correctly, the error is gone. Otherwise, no magic. Yeah. Yeah, now the column is completely black. So just to show you that in akka, we believe that the FC file can be changed directly on the web. You don't need to go back to any type of authoring. This is what we have shown today. So again, please try our IDS editor and our IDS validator. IDS editor is for free. A validator you can use for 3 months. Thank you, and maybe now wait for some questions.
Yeah, maybe just to add the last thing, this journey is just starting, and we are just touching the point of importance of these kind of things. This is real stuff, really working. You're able to have a data dictionary, to create requirements, and to check those requirements. And even when preparing together this session, we were thinking about the next step. being able to push this IDS directly to the ACA platform. So you can immediately check coming from this requirement tool and maybe allowing to access the data dictionary content directly from the ACA platform. So that, again, just to let you know that the ball is still rolling. Many ideas around this topic every day, even today when preparing, we had some. And yeah.
Also the IDS, now you can do something, you cannot do everything. So also the IDS is going to be updated in the next months to do more stuff.
Just want to make one comment. On the data dictionary, on the UK data dictionary side, it's very important to say that the 5 largest contractors are sitting in the same room, defining the content together, defining milestones, defining purposes together. So that means that between the contractors, there is an agreement on how to work. And actually all the properties and all the information used is developed in meetings, sitting together. I just want to say that that is very important.
Just to see it in practical terms, imagine I'm a project manager. I have a team, and the team delivers to me the IFC models, and I check them up with these tools. Is it possible afterwards to create a BCF to send to them to correct the errors in the proprietary model?
Yeah, sure. You can export the BCF from IDS.
Because we are not changing IFC. We have to communicate with the team. You have to correct this, and this.
A possible flow. But yeah, you can export it in BCF and do whatever you want and then update the FC file and check again.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
It's specifically about the IFC editor. So what do you have sort of for an audit trail? I think it was a little bit related to the last question, right? So if you're going in and making changes, I mean, who would be making those changes and how do you track that? Do you follow the question?
It's up to you who can make the change. So you can give to the right to make the change to someone that you can edit the file. And all the changes are logged behind, so you can see who changed the single properties, and you can have a look. There's not a specific way to say that you can do it, you cannot do it. If you can update the file, you can do it.
Can I ask specifically the workflow? Let's say you get an architectural model and you're from the client side and you make a change to that IFC. When you then when you export that, I'm assuming you can export it here, and then is it in the metadata of the IFC file that a change has taken place based on an original exported IFC? That's the question.
In this case, you cannot do it, but we believe that you cannot change always the original file, because if you want to do it something later, many months or many years later, you need to do it in IFC. You cannot do it in the original native format. So we did this. We gave it to everyone to do this. Now it's up to you to use in the best way. We believe that the architect doesn't add all the information to the model. Architect add some information, but maybe there are other people later that add more information, like for facility management, operation, IoT, and if you connect if you use this model for a digital twin, you need to update some information live, for example. So this opportunity is quite powerful in that case. In a future next stage.
I will behave the French way, so I will answer another question than yours. Now, joke aside, in fact, your question is also valid on the specification part. As soon as you have pressed the button to export the IDS file, someone may sign a contract on this, meaning that you are not allowed anymore to make any change in link, except if you are versioning and explain clearly this has been changed because of this, and maybe we will have a change in the contract. So yes, you're perfectly right about the BIM model, but we also have to take care about this already at the specification level. Once you have signed a contract on something, you are not allowed to touch it anymore, and we have to really take care about that. So thank you. I just forgot to tell it, but just reminded me.
Any more questions? Yep.
I think so.
Can you put on the slide that you showed before? That was a schema that showed the owner, contractor, and then the designer. This one.
There we go. Which one?
This one.
Ah, so
Okay, thank you. No. Okay. If I understood, when the owner creates the requirements and exports to IDS format, the designer can import this IDS to the proprietary tool that he uses to produce information.
you asking me?
Because
No, depending on the tool.
imagine IDS is kind of all of the requirements that they needs. Maybe there are new parameters, there are new information that we have to add. So in order to know and have the requirements that are needed in our proprietary modeling tool to fill in with the information?
The answer is not easy, but one idea was to create an IDS modeler. There's something they're reading the IDS and add some properties to the FC file in our platform.
Only
But,
FC?
Yeah, we have only FC. Another tool you can do, but sometimes it's not always possible to use an IDS to model an FC file. In this type of requirements, yes, because you have very clean requirements. You say this FC file must have these properties. But
we have to create the properties on our own.
No. We can do, for example, create these properties for you, but not for all the IDS. You can do some type of modeler. So, and don't know if it's.
I'm not clear. Okay, because okay.
Just to add something, some BIM motoring tools are working on being able to import an IDS to create automatic the properties you will need, and then after that export.
Because it's hard for a designer to respond to requirements if it doesn't know which requirements are.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Just want to make a comment on the data governance process within your organization. So if you want to add a property or a change within your organization, the question is where do you do that? Do you do that in the software? Do you do that on the project? Is this related to your organization? So actually what's important here, I'm going back to the dictionary, is this something that you should do as a change for your organization, information requirements? So that means that you have to implement a more central way of working. And this is actually ISO 23386, how to develop properties using a dictionary. So that's the change, that when we work with the contractors or manufacturers, they have to have a central point when they want to develop more information. They can't do it on the project. They have to go to this person that says, okay, I want color to be added. Someone does that and adds that to the dictionary, which again just is fed to the project, of course. But then you have an internal data governance process, which is important to understand.
So just to perhaps also add to the previous speaker, which is, that the modeler should adapt its, let's say, user interface to the requirements that are put in. However, what my question is it possible to define all the requirements, for example, in IDS or any other software, right? Are there limitations?
Yeah, I told you before, there are some limitations. So IDS is not complete, but if you want to ask for properties, it's quite complete. You can ask for properties and you can create automatically the properties. If you want to count, for example, if you want to say, I want just only IFC alignment, or I want 5 IFC something, you cannot do it. Yep. If you want to ask for a relation, it's not easy to do it. So still.
Or for example, I want to have a stationing reference on my signal along the alignment or something like that. I know that the first version should come out and then we will develop it further, I assume.
Yeah, it's as soon as the standard can do it, we will implement it. It's yeah.
That's a statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyway, one idea Frédéric told before is just to connect directly to the co-builder database and get the property that you need and create in a ASBIM. So you need to go through the IDS. The IDS is more to check. To edit, it's better to connect directly to the dictionary server.
Yeah, that was not the place to show it today, but in ASBIM, you can connect to a data dictionary. The idea is when you are there, you select a window, connect to co-builder define, find the list of properties in define that are relevant for you, select the one, press a button, and they will be added into the IFC model in ASBIM. So that's what we are discussing right now. Shouldn't be difficult to implement. You have done it for other data dictionaries. We have an API, so that's just a matter of doing it. And I think this is a lot of value for the users to be able directly in ASBIM to get back the right properties for the right objects.
The main role in this one. IDS is for checking, not for editing. So keep in mind.
I'll just bring a question online from Roger Grant. Hi, Frédéric. Following up on the presentation Thomas made earlier, does this workflow imply that the IDS is compliant with and IDM and corresponding MVD that are supported by the software used? This one here.
Well, hello, Roger. Nice to hear from you. Yes, if your IDS is not compliant with the MVD you use in your BIM software, this will not work. Yes, you have to have compliance on this. That's for sure. Yeah.
Sorry. You've spoken about a lot about connection to this UK data dictionary. But what about the connection to the buildingSMART data dictionary?
Same story. My example here was this national data dictionary, but IDS can be connected to any kind of data dictionary. My point is that you should have one data dictionary behind it. This example is about UK. It could have been the Norwegian National Data Dictionary. It could have been the Danish one. And it could be BSDD if you want to create IDS on BSDD.
And can ACA do that connection?
BSD? Yeah. You can just use ASBIM BSD. Just a quick question. This use of IDS, checking the properties, is just one use of IDS. IDS can do much more. It can do material, classification. So it's not just for properties. You can do part of. You can say that something is connected with other part. So IDS is much more, can do much more. This is a very good example because very useful. You do this type of stuff every day. So it's very powerful in this case. But IDS is much powerful. I think it will become more powerful in the future.
Any more questions? Any final comments from our speakers?
Thank you for the attention. It was the last session, so I think we are tired, everyone. So thank you to be awake until now.
Same. Thanks a lot to have stayed in the room until late. And see you tomorrow.